Good evening, fellow wargamers. I'm still here in Orlando for the Microsoft Tech Ed event, and I'm back in the room for the evening now. It's getting close to 10, so it's time for me to break out the knife and the glue, start putting some more models together. And I know that vlog number 2 is only barely up, I think earlier today sometime. I don't have a whole lot of questions to answer up there yet, but I thought I'd go ahead and start working on another one just so that we could keep this conversation going. And on that note, throughout my ramblings and random thoughts tonight, I think I'll probably be asking you guys some questions just to get some conversations kicked up in the comments, and hopefully we can have some very interesting discussions throughout my series of vlogs, which I am having lots of fun doing, and I hope you guys are having lots of fun watching, either just for the heck of watching it or while you're doing hobby stuff too. I hope it's the latter. I hope you guys are out there doing stuff right along with me, building, painting, taking a nap, I don't know. Yeah, a couple of cool nerd things on the horizon for me right now. I have planned a trip with my wife for our 3rd anniversary coming up here in the next couple of months. And I've already told her what it was, and she's very excited, and I'm very excited because she's excited, because I think I have finally gotten to the point where I'm so close to fully converting her over to a big nerd. I bought us tickets to Dragon Con in Atlanta, and so I'm going to be there, and there's not a whole lot of wargaming stuff that's going on there, but there are some War Machine tournaments, and I think there's some Warhammer events that I'll probably try to at least go watch and report back to you guys on, see what else is going on there. But the big thing that I wanted to tell you guys about was I've sort of gone off the deep end back into one of my old hobbies, which is movie prop manufacturing. I actually have a degree in filmmaking, and I spent most of my time there doing prop and costume stuff. I focus more on props. I love, hard some object that I can take, like laser pistols or armor or whatnot. And I've actually my plan is ambitious. I want to make Khador Man-O-War armor for my costume, or one of my costumes, at Dragon Con this year. And for those of you who know the War Machine universe, know that that is terribly ambitious. That's about like trying to make Terminator armor. The thing is just massive. Think of like a giant sort of egg suit with arms and legs coming out of it and massive pauldrons. And I'm planning on going with the demo core variety of Man-O-War. There's 3 different ones in the game system. There's the demo core, which is a giant glowing blue hammer, like a 2-handed warhammer kind of thing. And there's the original ones, which are the shock troopers, and they've got a giant halberd in one hand, which they swing as sort of a one-handed weapon, but in the other they have a big shield. The shield also has a cannon coming out of it, which is pretty cool, but I'd like to have one thing to carry around instead of 2, and it's just going to be really massively bulky if I've got to carry around an oversized halberd and a giant shield. And then the last variety is the brand new bombardiers, which look like they smack a little bit of Gears of War to me. They carry around these sort of grenade launchers with an undermounted chainsaw, which in the game they're pretty cool. I like them. They're any AOEs that you can strap onto infantry is good stuff. It really helps take out a lot of the stealth stuff. So because you'll automatically miss, but it may deviate right back onto them. So that's always handy to have, especially when you're playing, stuff like Legion that tends to have lots and lots of fun, stealthy things. So that's my big news right now as far as my wargaming nerdity goes. Right now, tonight, I'm putting together yet another set of Mantic models. These are more skeletons, much like the ones that I did in vlog number 1. I just happen to have a whole lot of them. I think I may have mentioned before that Mantic had a thing going a few weeks ago where you pay a flat fee and they'll give you 20 random sprues of infantry, and it was really cheap too. It was like 20 Great British pounds, which ends up being, I guess, about $28–30 US, and probably about the same Canadian. So for about $30 getting 20 sprues of infantry, I got so much stuff. I got a bunch of orcs and the space orcs for them, and skeletons and zombies and ghouls. You know, I really lucked out getting lots and lots of undead for my Vampire Count's army. But also a note. Ooh, accidentally cut that part. Ooh. A note on customer service, though, that I was really appreciative of. They ran out of one of the things that was supposed to come with this set. You pay a little bit extra when you buy the random 20 sprues, and they send you a Mantic bag, like not a transport bag, but like a messenger bag. They would just ship the whole thing to you, the 20 random sprues, in this messenger bag, which is cool. I like branded swag to take to you know, game shop or conventions or whatever. I just, you know, I'll advertise for them. They're cool. But they ran out of these bags too early. I guess they miscalculated or something, but they did a big public apology. You know, we're so sorry. We'll make it up to you. We'll send you some extra models or something. So, that is what they did. They asked, you know, they said, okay, we've got these 2 models that we'd like to sub in. Pick one and we'll send it to you. It actually costs more than the bag normally does, so fair trade. Well, they shipped these things out, and I didn't get the extra that I was supposed to because I paid the extra for the bag. They had sent me an email. I told them which one I wanted. Didn't show up in the box. So I was a little bummed out about that, and I sent them an email, and they gave me a similar spiel to when they ran out of the bags. Oh, so sorry. You know, we'll take care of this immediately. Well, you know, they messed it up once, and I was like, okay, you know, that's fine. You made a mistake. Send me something else in its place, and we're good. Or refund me the difference. But you know, when you can't make good on that, I start to wonder about customer service. Well, here's where they turned it all around. They said, well, I'm sorry, we'll ship that out to you immediately. So it's coming from the UK, so I'm assuming it's going to take a little while, and it does. It takes about you know, a week and a half to get there. They dispatch it pretty quickly, I assume, because it takes quite a while to get transatlantic. So the box shows up, and it's the same size box as the one that had all the sprues in it. And I was like, wow, they really sort of wasted on shipping here. Why would they send this kit? I mean, it was essentially supposed to be just a bag of resin parts. So I pick it up, and I'm thinking, wow, this is awfully heavy for this thing. And I open it up, and it's another 20 random sprues in there, which, you know, they didn't have to do. I was perfectly happy just getting, you know, what I had ordered, or sort of what I had ordered, what I had agreed to take instead of what I had ordered. But, you know, they went the extra mile, especially because they messed up 2 times consecutively with me. And that really made the difference for me. I got mostly the same stuff in that box the second time that I got in the first one. But, yeah, I mean, essentially now for $30 or so, I end up getting close to 200 minis, half of which are very functional in an army that I'm actively playing, plus tons of bits and extra goodies for conversion work or starting up some sort of little orcs thing. I got tons of these orcs now. They look really cool, and they look very different from the way that Games Workshop's do. I've been putting them on Games Workshop bases. Let me see if I can get a little closer here so you can see what I'm talking about. That's really not going to show up very well. It's all backlit. I'm sorry. I'll show you guys these some other time, especially once I get them painted. But the point is, I'm sure that it doesn't take a whole lot for them to produce these once they've got the molds made. And they obviously had a surplus of these sprues, otherwise they wouldn't have made their super bargain deal on these. And I really appreciate the fact that they took the time to say, hey, look, we messed up, and you're a very valued customer of ours. Please take these in place of us getting it right the first time. Customers remember that, and that's been my policy with customer service in just about everything I do. Trying to make sure that they get what they want the first time, but if for some reason I mess it up, make sure that I get them something to remember me by. If I don't quite meet expectations on something, to really overdo it in some other aspect so that the customer still has a fantastic experience, and they'll remember that and come back to you when they have need for your services again. That said, it's always better to make a good impression first and not have to make up with it for or with extra stuff. But just thought I'd share that with you. I always like to pass on my good experiences with wargaming, and in particular just general companies. So I've been asked what games I play in one of the previous vlogs, and I went into some of that, just sort of hit the high points on most of it. But I'd like to turn that question around and see what game systems do you guys really like. I assume that it's got to be probably 90% Games Workshop game players out there, probably mostly 40K, some fantasy, but just sort of judging by the questions and the general demographics I've been able to glean from some of the user-submitted content and things like that, I'm guessing it's mostly 40K. But even past that, I'd like to know what armies do you guys play? Is it mostly Imperial? Is it mostly Xeno or Chaos? I'd just like to know who my viewers are and what kind of content you guys would be most interested in seeing. I'm all about trying to give you guys exactly what you're looking for, so that you have the most incentive to keep watching. So, trying to think if there's any of the armies that I neglected to talk about yesterday. I had sort of breezed by the fact that I've got some Malifaux. Honestly, I haven't played a whole lot of that, but what little I have played was a really good experience. One of the interesting aspects of that is that it's a completely diceless system. There's no rolling of the dice, and the randomization factor comes completely in a special set of cards. You can always sub in normal parlor game cards, 4 suits and the 2 jokers kind of deal, but they have special ones with the official suits. I can't remember what exactly they are. I think it's like Rams and that's really all I remember. Ram, Tome, something else. But there's 4 alternate suits instead of spades, diamonds, hearts, and clubs. But you can always use the normal deck to sort of translate between. But you essentially, if I remembering correctly, because it's been a little while since I've played, it's sort of like you have a hand, and the cards that you have in your hand represent the roles that you could potentially play, and you kind of have a bidding system where somebody flips a card, and if they don't like that card, they can cheat to put a better card down on top of it to take its place, and then your opponent has a chance to use other cards to try to sabotage you, and then I think you have one more opportunity to sort of outbid their sabotage at the end. But yeah, it seems really neat, and I actually ended up picking up, or I got it for free actually from Adepticon this year. They were in the main swag bags that they were giving out at the beginning. They gave away full rule books. It was the paperback, I guess, travel copy. It wasn't like the big full size, letter or A4 sized books, but the little pocket sized ones were really nice. Full color. They are glossy pages, really nice stock paper. I was very impressed. I think they're normally only $15, but still, a free copy for a book that I needed anyway. I'll take it. So let's see, what else to talk about. I'm actually, I think I mentioned this as well, there's a new game coming out, and pre-orders are up right now for it, a game from Hawk Games called Dropship Commander, or Drop Zone, I can't remember the thing actually. Drop something Commander. It's either Dropship or Drop Zone. And it looks pretty cool. I'm excited about that as well. I'll probably end up picking up one of the starter boxes. I think some of the guys in my group back home are also interested in playing, so I should have sort of instant player base. We tend to be pretty agile about the games we play. Typically when something new hits, we end up picking it up immediately so that we can test it out, try it out, see if it's worth it, and that's always great for me because then I can talk intelligently about most games and have a little small force, at least a frame of reference when I talk about it, and get to do some reviews for you guys here and on YouTube and on my blog. So that is always a plus. So yeah. Also have a question for you guys about gamer etiquette. Now, this is another conversation point I hope to have some conversations with you guys about, and that is, I guess, responsibilities of the gamer to the game shop, and vice versa. Who has what responsibilities? There's a lot of talk about this between me and the guys that I know locally that work in our local game store, and there's always the people who are going to just buy online and then come into the store and play on their tables, and never actually support the store that they're using the facilities of. And I'll just sort of lay out the questions, and I want you guys to tell me what you think. I'll give sort of a brief summary. My opinions are kind of fast and loose, so I'm more interested to see what the community at large has to say about this. I guess my thoughts on it are, is it supposed to be a trade? Are you supposed to buy something if you play in the shop? If you play in the shop, are you supposed to buy something? Where do you draw the line? What if one person is feeling slighted, and or I guess what if the gamer specifically is, okay, well, you guys have, your prices are way too high, or you don't carry what I want. Is it, obviously, if they're not carrying what you want, don't buy something that you don't want. But I guess the question is, where do you draw the lines here? How far should you go to try to keep your local game store afloat if they're doing a poor job of managing themselves? Because I've talked to lots and lots of gamers, even outside of my own local community, about this very issue, and sometimes it can be a very hot button item. They only have, you know, one game store, and the people who run it just are not very responsive to the community, and yet they feel like they're compelled to continue to try and support the store even at, I guess, sort of personal monetary loss, just because they want to come and use the facilities. I'll leave it at that. I'll stop talking it into the ground, but just run with it. Tell me what you guys think. So, anyway, back to these skeletons here. As I've said before, my Vampire Count's army is just getting outrageously out of control very quickly. And I can't remember which user it was in my previous vlog video. They already commented and were talking about how difficult it is to rank up Skaven, the Storm Vermin, and I very much agree. I see what you mean immediately. I got them all put together and was putting them down on the bases and started to realize that they are not ranking up very well. The halberds get in the way and all kinds of stuff, so I'm trying to reposition them a little bit to get them to play nice. But that's one thing that is sort of a blessing and a curse, I think, with some of the Mantic models. They rank up very easily, but they fall into this strange realm where they, unlike Games Workshop models, they don't seem to fill up the volume of the base very well. Like, I don't have, oh, right, here we go. These are all the base size, the 20 mil base size for Mantic, and you know, it's the same size for Games Workshop. But like, obviously this isn't put together yet, but you can see here that it's almost like a twig in the middle of the base, whereas Games Workshop models really completely fill out that area. And visually, I'm a fan of the Games Workshop volume, but at the same time, I think that Mantic is certainly onto something with models that will rank up almost completely any way that you put them. I mean, you don't have to worry about, okay, this guy right here, he'll only sit next to this other guy because his spear just sort of like weaves under his arm. And I've had models like that. In fact, I think that some of these Storm Vermin that I just put together, maybe that way I'm going to have to sort of flip them over and A1, A2, A3. Either that or just keep them all magnetized down to the same magnetic base and never take them off, or only take them off in rows, trying to keep them organized. Yes, lots of fun. Well, before I completely run out of things and go rambling off into oblivion, I think I'll probably stop it here for the evening. But I appreciate you guys watching and taking the time to see what I'm up to and keep me company while I am off on this trip. And I will see you in the next video, which will probably be a couple days from now. I'll probably not do another one while I'm on the road here. I'll be back home in just a few more days here, so I'll do one as soon as I get back home, and I will see you then. Thanks for watching, and please tune in for future videos, and happy wargaming.